After a season and reunion, full of bickering, yelling, and side comments, Andy Cohen had only one request of the Valley's Brittany Cartwright. "Will you lead us in a prayer, Brittany, later?" The Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen host asked during a filming break for glam touch-ups during Part 3 of Season 2's reunion. "Sure," Brittany replied as she laughed. Andy also had compliments to give out in the lighthearted moment caught on camera between reunion segments. "Your hair looks great. Very pretty," he commented to Brittany, before looking at her estranged husband sitting opposite of her. "Your hair looks good too, Jax." "I'm not happy with it, but it's okay," Jax Taylor replied, stunning Andy into only answering with, "Oh." Before resuming filming on the reunion, Janet Caperna joined in the conversation. Referencing rumors about Zach Wickham's hair, she joked with Jax, "Zach might be able to introduce you to a good wig guy." Andy Cohen weighs in on Brittany Cartwright and Jax Taylor's drama over Jax's bar. When filming picked back up, Andy also spoke to Jax and Brittany about drama surrounding Jax's former bar. Jax announced he parted ways with his bar, Jax's Studio City, at the end of July, but he previously opened up about the bar during the Valley Season 2 reunion filming in May. While Jax was away at a mental health facility, some of the cast decided to briefly rename the bar Brits on Episode 9. Andy asked him during the August 12 episode if he was upset about the temporary makeover. "Who wouldn't be upset? I understand why they did it. It was hurtful, obviously," Jax admitted. Andy then pointed out, "By the way, they were trying to prop her up." It was all very positive. Brittany chimed in as Jax reiterated, "No, I understand." Jax Taylor and Brittany Cartwright tell Andy Cohen where they stand after the Valley Season 2 reunion. Brittany and Jax explored their complicated feelings and relationship status for each other during all 3 parts of the Valley reunion. Brittany accused Jax of prolonging their divorce during Part 1, and Jax in turn questioned on Part 2 if he should still go through with divorce, asking, "Is this the right king move?" Andy took a moment at the end of Part 3 to ask Jax about his headspace after the fiery reunion. "My main objective here was just obviously to talk to Brittany and just to move forward," Jax answered, "and be peaceful to each other and be amazing co-parents to our son." He admitted that forgiveness from his estranged wife wouldn't come easy. "I know I've done a lot, and I'm hoping that she can forgive me one day," he added. "I'm not saying today. We have to be in each other's lives for a long time, and I think I've done a lot, and I just hope she can find it in her heart to forgive me one of these days." Andy asked Brittany if the reunion was a good start towards forgiveness of Jax. "I don't know," she answered. "It's hard. It's going to take a lot for him to prove to me that he's actually changing. And I'm sorry, but that's just the truth." The lights of the Watch What Happens Live set hummed with a nervous energy, even during the quiet lulls. Season 2 of The Valley had been a maelstrom of accusations, tears, and thinly veiled contempt, and the reunion had been no different. Andy Cohen, the maestro of reality TV drama, surveyed his disheveled cast, a faint smile playing on his lips as the glam squad descended. "Will you lead us in a prayer, Brittany, later?" he'd asked, a mischievous glint in his eye, knowing full well the irony of seeking divine intervention after such an unholy spectacle. Brittany Cartwright, her usual bubbly self despite the emotional gauntlet she'd just run, had laughed, a sound like wind chimes after a storm. "Sure," she'd replied, the southern lilt softening the sharp edges of the reunion's recent battles. Andy, ever the charmer, had moved on to compliments. "Your hair looks great. Very pretty," he'd offered to Brittany, then, almost as an afterthought, to the man sitting opposite her, his estranged husband, Jax Taylor. "Your hair looks good too, Jax." Jax, however, wasn't in the mood for pleasantries. "I'm not happy with it, but it's okay," he'd grumbled, a response so utterly Jax that it had momentarily stunned even Andy into a simple "oh." The moment had been a microcosm of their entire relationship. Brittany's sunshine against Jax's perpetual storm cloud. Just as the silence threatened to stretch, Jaina Caperna, ever the comedic relief, had chimed in, a sly grin on her face. "Zach might be able to introduce you to a good wig guy," she quipped, referencing the persistent rumors about Zach Wickham's suspiciously perfect coiffure. Even Jax had managed a begrudging smirk. The brief reprieve ended as the cameras rolled again, and Andy, with the precision of a seasoned surgeon, delved back into the open wounds of the cast. The topic: Jax's former bar, Jax's Studio City, and the now infamous Brits incident. Jax had recently announced his departure from the establishment, but the damage had been done during his stint at a mental health facility. In an act of questionable loyalty or perhaps misguided support, some of the cast had briefly rebranded his bar Brits. Andy's question was direct. Was he upset about the temporary makeover? Who wouldn't be upset? Jax had admitted, his voice tight. "I understand why they did it. It was hurtful, obviously." The words were laced with a familiar resentment, a bitterness that had curdled over years of perceived slights. Andy, ever the advocate for good television, had offered a counterpoint. By the way, they were trying to prop her up. Brittany, seizing the opportunity to defend her friends, had interjected, it was all very positive. Jax, ever the contrarian, had conceded with a reluctant, "No, I understand," but his expression betrayed a lingering sense of betrayal. The incident, seemingly minor, was another brick in the wall of animosity that had grown between him and his estranged wife. The reunion's final segment had been a delicate dance around the most volatile subject of all, Jax and Brittany's relationship status. Part 1 had seen Brittany accuse Jax of prolonging their divorce. Part 2 had Jax, in a moment of raw vulnerability, question if he should even go through with it, a desperate plea hanging in the air. Is this the right king move? Now, in Part 3, Andy sought some semblance of resolution, a glimpse into the future of their fractured family. He turned to Jax, his voice softer, more empathetic. "What's your headspace after this reunion, Jax?" Jax, surprisingly, had offered a measured response, a rare moment of clarity amidst the chaos. "My main objective here was just obviously to talk to Brittany and just to move forward, and be peaceful to each other, and be amazing co-parents to our son." His words, while seemingly genuine, were delivered with the weariness of a man who had fought too many battles. He knew forgiveness wouldn't come easy, if it came at all. "I know I've done a lot, and I'm hoping that she can forgive me one day," he'd admitted, a hint of desperation in his eyes. "I'm not saying today. We have to be in each other's lives for a long time, and I think I've done a lot, and I just hope she can find it in her heart to forgive me one of these days." It was an olive branch, perhaps, but one extended with a history of broken promises. Andy had then turned to Brittany, her expression a mixture of exhaustion and stubborn resolve. Is this a good start towards forgiveness of Jax? Brittany's answer had been a testament to the depth of her hurt, the years of disappointment that had hardened her heart. "I don't know," she'd replied, her voice tinged with a raw honesty. "It's hard. It's going to take a lot for him to prove to me that he's actually changing. And I'm sorry, but that's just the truth." As the cameras finally cut, the manufactured smiles of reconciliation dropped, replaced by the grim realities of their personal lives. Brittany, her body language radiating exhaustion, walked off the set, the promise of a prayer for later forgotten in the immediate need for escape. Jax lingered, a solitary figure amidst the retreating crew, his headspace still a tangled mess of regret and defensiveness. The reunion was over, but their story, messy and complicated, was far from it. Forgiveness, like a fragile bloom, needed time, sunlight, and a genuine change in season. And as the studio lights dimmed, Leaving behind only shadows, it was clear that for Brittany and Jax, the long, cold winter of their discontent was far from over. Their son, Cruz, was the only beacon, a tiny lighthouse in their stormy seas, reminding them that some bridges, no matter how burnt, might still need to be crossed. The journey ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the valley they lived in was still very much in flux.